Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Daredevil Born Again Disney Plus MCU TV series. We have Matt Murdock himself, Daredevil, and I'm excited to review this one. If you watched my previous video, it was the Daredevil Born Again Punisher figure, which I'm very, very pleased with. I don't know if I'm going to feel the exact same about this Daredevil figure. Hopefully I like it. Hopefully it is better than the previous Netflix Daredevil figures that we got many years ago. It should be, because back then the figures, while good, they don't always hold up to today's standards, as engineering and things like that has been updated and just kind of comes out a little bit better. But we shall see. But I'm excited for this. I did get mine from Target. Target stores has started to receive it. I'll have a link in the video description below to the Target listing in case you want to try and do a store pickup, which is what I did, and it worked out for me. Same with Punisher. Or maybe you could just use it to see if your local store has it. Whatever the case may be, I will also have some pre-order links if you're looking to pick up through like Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon or anything like that. Looking at the package, we get the Daredevil Born Again logo there. You can see Daredevil. We see the figure in the package. We get this awesome artwork of Daredevil there on the side. It is also on the back, and it reads Daredevil for the bio. What kind of lawyer is Matt Murdock? A really good one. Ace attorney by day, Matt Murdock pursues justice for those who cannot achieve it themselves. If you watch the Daredevil Born Again series, there was a lot of court cases and things like that. It was very Matt Murdock centric and less Daredevil centric. It did get that way towards the end of the season, of course, but there's that there. So we get Daredevil, we get Punisher. We did not get Muse, which would have been cool. Another Kingpin would have been cool. Muse, I thought, was a little bit of a wasted villain in the show. It would have been awesome to get a figure of that. However, because I thought what we did get was pretty good, I just really wanted more, and a figure would look very awesome. Unfortunately, we don't get that, but we get Daredevil, we get Punisher. So let's open it up and let's take a look at Daredevil. Okay, so here's the Daredevil figure out of the package, and yeah, I don't like it as much as I like the Punisher figure. Is this a bad figure by any means? No. Is it better than the previous Daredevil MCU figures that we got? I would say yes, but it's not a perfect figure. The torso diaphragm on there doesn't move as nicely as like the Punisher figure, so there's that. There's no boot swivel on this guy, which seems to be a trend with Marvel Legends, which is really starting to irritate me because it's like so easy to be able to do. Like, if it's a cut boot and a leg piece, why not just do it to where it can swivel? I just don't understand that thought process there. And then the suit itself, just a lot of red going on, so there's nothing wrong with the suit. That would just be more of a criticism of the design from the show. But we got the billy clubs in there, which is good. We get the wire that holds the two together. It is not bendy wire at all. That would be amazing if that was something that Hasbro could do. But then thinking that Hasbro would do something like that is just lost cause, because Hasbro wouldn't, which sucks. Would have been cool, but that's something an import company would do, like Mafex would likely do if they were to do an MCU version. They did do it with the comic Daredevil, so we got that there. So the billy clubs will connect to those. We get one extra set of hands, so we have grip hands for left and right, and then we have an open left hand, as you can see here, and then a fist for the right. I don't like when they do that. Give us two fists, give us two open hands, and just make it two extra sets of hands instead of one. I wish they would do that. Maybe one day. Likely not, because Hasbro just chooses to do some shortcuts here and there, so that's a little unfortunate, but we do have some extra hands, which is good. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good. The digital print of the facial hair, the beard in there, is a little bit weird because it kind of has some lines in it on kind of the print pattern, which is a little unfortunate. From far away you can't really tell, but if you get up close you can kind of notice it there. But anyway, let's take a closer look at the figure so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the beard. Alright, so here's the close-up. You can kind of see the line work right on his chin on how the print kind of came out with his beard. It's not the big deal, but, it's definitely a little bit noticeable. But I think overall it looks pretty good. You can kind of see the nose under the mask there. The eyes are kind of redded out. I don't know if they're maybe a little too bright, but it's okay. Sculpt-wise, it looks pretty good. Looking at it, we get a nice textured detail throughout, and you can kind of see some wrinkles and things like that, which is good because that means they're kind of paying attention to the sculpt. They're not just giving us smooth anything. So lots of, sculpted wrinkles in there. The hinge on the knees is kind of weird, as you can see a large red hinge in there because that hinge piece is always one piece. So even though the boot should be black, we kind of just get red going on back in there, and then when you bend the knee forward, you kind of see the same thing there. So there's a little bit of black throughout the suit, not a whole lot, but obviously, of course, it was red in the show. I want to say it was probably more of a brighter red in the show versus this kind of dark down maroonish color. It should have been a brighter red, but hey, we got it. I wish it were, a brighter red for sure. But this is how he came out. Boots-wise, look pretty good. Just no swivel in there. It is fully pinless, which is good, as you can see there. The billy clubs look pretty good. I wish the billy clubs could connect to each other. They cannot connect to each other, but this is how the billy clubs look, which is cool. Again, you just can't connect them, but the way it works with this wire piece, not even wire piece, this plastic piece, which kind of acts as the, I don't know if you would call it a wire for like in the show in real life, if this is what was going on. Maybe it would be a wire, but it's the cable or whatever that connects the two billy club pieces together, so he can kind of fire one off. So if you want to do something like this, I mean, that's probably not how it would work, but you'd probably hold on to this side, right? So he can kind of shoot out that piece, because he did some, not web swinging, but he did some baton billy club swinging in the show, where he would shoot off with the baton and then be able to kind of swing around the city. We didn't get that in the Netflix show, but we got it in the Disney Plus Daredevil Born Again show, because there was a lot more CGI usage in the Disney Plus show, which I wasn't against. I think it can enhance. There were some areas where it's like, I guess that looks a little wonky, because fight scenes in the Netflix version, it was all practical and everything like that, whereas there was definitely some CGI stuff going on in the Daredevil Born Again show, which again, I didn't hate, but it is something to just kind of point out, notice. But that's the billy club there. But yeah, that is Daredevil Born Again, the close-up look. And again, I think it looks pretty good. So now let's go ahead and get on into the articulation. Okay, so articulation of Daredevil. His head is on a dumbbell joint, but he can look all the way up. He can look all the way down. The neck itself is on a separate piece from the torso, so you can shift it to look down, you could shift it to look up, you could shift it to the side for some pivot and everything like that, and then a full rotation on that head in there as well. The shoulder you can get to go straight on out like so. You get a full rotation in there. It does have that faux butterfly joint, so you could shift the shoulder up a little bit. You can't really shift down. You can move it back a little bit. You really can't move it forward, so you're not going to get any crossbody like that or anything like that. Again, that's just a plastic ring in there to kind of act like a butterfly joint, but really it's just a filler gap in there. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbow, gives you that much bend there at the elbow. Wrists swivel. The two grip hands have a vertical hinge on there, but the fist and open hand have the standard horizontal joints, hinges in there. And then we have the diaphragm cut on Daredevil, so he could tilt to his left that much there. He could tilt to his right that much there. You can go back a little bit, but you do see some gap in there, unfortunately. And then coming forward is a little bit more than we typically see with the diaphragm cut, but it's still not a whole lot in there. And then you get a swivel on that diaphragm. You also get a waist swivel, which is redundant. If you have one, you really don't need the other. Legs go out that far apart. He can't kick forward that far there, which is a decent amount. Leg does go back a little ways. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend at the knee. No boot swivel, which is a crime. Foot hinges all the way down. You get some hinge up. Ankle pivot. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. I didn't show this earlier, but the billy club pieces can not clip. They just kind of insert right in there onto his left leg, so you could store them, so that works out pretty good there. But that is the articulation for Daredevil. Nothing spectacular or great or anything like that, and that's why, to me, while he is a better upgrade to the previous one that we got, just because engineering in today's figures is better, he's not as good as the Punisher figure, in my opinion, which is a very good figure. Alright, so let's do the side-by-side comparison. So here, this is kind of that recreation from that particular scene in the show, and then this is like one of the official images that shows like, hey, Punisher's in this episode, and Daredevil, all this and that. So we have those two. I think these two work really well together. Again, I would have loved to have gotten a Muse figure, which would have been cool, or hey, why not get us a Kingpin figure that's better than this one? Not that this one was terrible, although it wasn't really good, the body-wise. I think the head sculpt is pretty good. I get my stuff all over the face. Anyway, I think the head sculpt was pretty good, but size-wise, I think Kingpin still should have been a little bit bigger. Yes, in Daredevil Born Again, he was not as big, but as the season progressed, he started to gain weight. I don't know if it really showed that, but I think that was kind of the idea as Kingpin Wilson Fisk was becoming his normal, usual self, evil self. There, even though he kind of always was the whole time kind of thing. But here we go. So hopefully we get another Wilson Fisk Kingpin MCU figure. I'm sure somewhere down the road we will see that. But there we go with Daredevil, Punisher, and Kingpin. Now let's move on with some other side-by-side comparisons. So we've got Daredevil, and we've got Daredevil, Matt Murdock head sculpt. And I will do these head swaps, but they're just not very good. Like the two Matt Murdock Charlie Cox head sculpts that we have are just not very good. So here's the San Diego Comic-Con one, the Defenders box set there, and then throw in the Season 1, Season 2 suit. As you can see there, while the new one is a brighter red in comparison, it's not as bright as it should be. And just from like standards of figures kind of then into now, this one is just so much better in my opinion. The cool thing about the old one though is the Billy Club, while it was not textured in any way. Ooh, I haven't taken it out of this little things. At least these Billy Clubs actually came together to create, you know, the one baton. That is something that we are missing with this one, but although I don't know how they could have done it while also doing the feature where you can have the cable in between. Maybe what they could have done is just given us one extra baton piece with the little peg to put the two together. That would have been a nice little touch for Hasbro to do, but you know, that would cost using more money, and you know, Hasbro's not a real big fan of that sort of thing. So that we have those two Daredevil figures, and then we got the Matt Murdock from Spider-Man No Way Home. Size-wise, it's not exact. It's not super far off or anything like that, so it's kind of close. And then for more shits and giggles, we have the Spider-Man No Way Home Final Swing suit to kind of throw in there. I had seen something online that said potentially Daredevil would be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I highly doubt that, and I think it's probably one of those clickbait posts to try and get your attention. That's not actually something that's going to be happening, but there we go. All right, so let's try some head swaps in here, some head sculpts. So we're going to pop that off so you can see. Oh, look at that. It's on a hinge. I didn't realize that was on a hinge. But you have the neck itself, which moves, so what's the point of the hinge? That's kind of odd. Anyway, let's pop that off, and then let's get the Matt Murdock head sculpt on there, since this is technically the new one. Although, again, I still don't think this is a very good likeness. Ooh, and I think the neck's going to be crazy long on this. That's hideous looking. Good Lord. Oh, my God. So bad. So we're not ever going to do that again, because good Lord. But let's do this one, and this one's just not very good either. But I think we're going to have a similar issue. Oh, it's not going to be as bad. Okay, that kind of works, and I think the likeness is better than the other one, but I don't love the likeness, so it kind of works if that's what you want to do, but it's just not as good. I wish we would have gotten a new one. Unfortunately, we have not, so this is what we have to work with here. Okay, so that is my review of the Daredevil figure from the Disney Plus MCU series Daredevil Born Again, which was kind of like a Daredevil Season 4, but not quite. A little bit of reboot, but kind of a continuation. I really enjoyed the season. It wasn't the greatest. The Netflix show, I think, was better, but there were some really good things going on with Daredevil Born Again. The first 15 minutes of the first episode was some of the craziest stuff ever. Just so emotional. Awesome action, just crazy stuff happening. Really liked it. There was a couple of episodes where kind of like, what's going on here? Muse was a little wasted. I would have loved to see more with Muse. Kingpin was awesome. Daredevil was awesome. Punisher was awesome. Can't wait for Season 2. Can't wait for the Punisher special presentation, movie, episode, long film, short film, whatever the hell it's going to be. I can't wait for that. I'm excited, and hopefully we do actually see Daredevil in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Would be awesome if Daredevil happened to make an appearance in it. Who knows? But this Daredevil figure, while I like it more than the Netflix figures, it's not perfect by any means, but I am very pleased and happy to add it to my collection. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you guys think of it? Are you excited to pick it up? Again, I'll have links in the video description below and everything like that if you're looking to pick it up. But you guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.